Welcome to game night. This is a sweet, sweet thing as getting ready for the game. Remember to log to your own account, as that will help the internet further. That is some sweet, 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 sweet music. I'm just going to leave this on here for right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go off the screen and we are going to prepare for the game and prepare to see what songs are going to be available in the future game series of Skyblivion. Getting ready to go into the first song, and that is the Hope song to go into the game series. I'll be right back here in a little bit. Hopefully you're enjoying the night. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna leave the sequence on here right now of what this is, and I'm gonna switch over to Tess. Hopefully you guys are having a good night, and get ready to be able to play your game on your own account. Hopefully you're having a good night. Having a good night. I'm trying to stay as calm as I can be. I sense these kind of things when people are in my accounts. This does not feel good, and I don't want to play the game right now because of the reason that I'm sensing that there are people in my accounts. I have to talk and be open with this because when somebody is in somebody's account and when they actually log into somebody else's account without their knowledge, that feels really crappy. Like the previous things, like over in Amazon Music, over in Amazon Music, all of those things have been bought. And when those things are illegally downloaded, years ago, when Napster was sued, it was because of illegal downloading. And that's what this feels like, where with with the sensing of the accounts being illegally logged into, it's like a song is illegally being downloaded. Over in Amazon Music, over in the Elder Scrolls Online original game soundtrack, when those types of things get illegally downloaded, that directly affects me. It does not feel good at all. And so, for now, hopefully, I'm hoping that you guys do have a good night. I'm gonna go off the screen, and hopefully, you're gonna have a good game night. I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to show those of you that are illegally logged into somebody's account what this feels like. No, that's not good enough. So you see what this is? This is Elder Scrolls VI. Look at what is happening to the world. Without Elder Scrolls, look at what's happening. This is what I see every day. Now, if you're illegally logged in, look what look what is happening. You're being watched by another screen. I have nothing to worry about. I already know the proper people are already watching over me. They can easily come into the screen here. And it feels like crap to them when they see these violent things happening because people are illegally logging into accounts. This should be a good warning. It feels like crap. It doesn't bother me one bit if I'm on the screen like 24 hours a day, all the time. It doesn't bother me. Does not bother me like having a camera on all the time. What bothers me is the people that are on the internet that have illegally went in. There's a reason why I'm explaining this right now is because the game cannot be played because things are not aligned properly. Now, if you're illegally logged into another person's account, now is the time to log off and have your device destroyed. There's no time for repentance. I'm going to go back over here in Twitter and I'm going to put the violent screen on. I see this every day. I'm not happy with seeing a violent screen. I have to show this to make a point. Look what's happening here with the guys here. The guy that's hitting him. Why did he hit him? And why is he fighting back? I don't know, but I'm hoping that the violence stops. I'm going to go off the screen. Hopefully this will teach those of you that are illegally have been illegally logging in, this will teach you a lesson. Do you realize how violent society is right now? With Elder Scrolls, that brings a peace of mind and a peace and a calmness that we can have a peaceful world. I'm gonna flip the screen over into Elder Scrolls tests. Hopefully, this will be a great lesson and something better to watch. A more peaceful atmosphere and world. When I see this every day, I've been praying every day that the violence stops. And when I see this every day, it's the violence. It'll end. However, the violence is not ending. Once that's not seen, then the violence has stopped. of the development for the third DLC of Imperial City. The game is full of adventure or unique players in Elder Scrolls that like to play different roles in the game. Have you ever just talked about something that's in writing? I like to kind of do that every once in a while, and looking at the game development in the different gameplays within Elder Scrolls and Skyblivion. This is a beautiful thing in the different gameplays that go on in Elder Scrolls. There's three different forms that we play with in Elder Scrolls Online. It's called MMO, PvE, and PvP. It's a sweet thing. And looking at the different game series, as you might be looking down at the picture over as you're watching me, you're like, oh, I want to. You're playing Fallout. No, I'm not playing Fallout, but I'm I'm playing Skyblivion, and it's an awesome thing when you look at an MMO, you're like, MMO, like MMOCO. I see, and that's the game, like in the DLC of the game series, Skyblivion. The actual third DLC is in Imperial City. This is kind of the starting point when you look at Imperial City, or otherwise known as IC. Some players call Imperial City short for just IC, and playing IC is a fun game in whatever role you're trying to play in the game. There's three different roles you can play, and the first one is over what's called an MMO. What that means is that you get to gather with multiple players in MMO gameplay. So the basic thing here in Polyphone, which is being communicated for Elder Scrolls Online, to where we have a connection going over into ElderScrollsOnline.com, which branches out to many different places. Right here it says the first gameplay style is called MMO, or also known as MMORPG. There's a kind of a difference of the MMO and an MMORPG. When you're playing an MMO, you're basically playing with other players as a whole. In an MMORPG, you're playing with multiple players, but you're playing with what you're trying to get accomplished in the game, or in life you're trying to get somewhere, and that's how we get involved and to where we can branch out into other things, as you see kind of in the screen of what this is. The gameplay style is a fun way to get involved with the different groups that you might be involved in Elder Scrolls. This is the majority of players in which the game is played, and just a plain MMO game style is what most players play in the game. And basically in Elder Scrolls Online, the only MMO basically known is in the Skyblivion DLC, Imperial City. So when you think of MMO and Elder Scrolls, you're gonna go to Skyblivion in the third DLC. So that's a really fun thing, looking at the difference between MMO and MMORPG. You might have been confused before on what the actual term is, and what does MMO stand for? Well, the M you can kind of understand where it's like multi. And they're like, where's the P? Well, the P is kind of after the R. And so when you're looking at MMO, multimedia online. Well, we're not robots. There's like many online. Yeah, there could be many things that could have been communicated on what an actual MMO is. MMO to Elder Scrolls is basically playing with everyone and getting involved with groups. Getting involved in a group is a good thing, and taking time out of your day to log in and play the game with others is an important thing, and it will help you get more involved and bond real friendships throughout life. And that's the purpose of MMO and Elder Scrolls. So what I'm explaining is don't go away from the third DLC. I want you to get more involved in the third DLC. I don't want you going away from the game series and going to another game series that might not have the following that you're looking for. When you're looking for a good following, playing an MMO style gameplay in the third DLC is really going to help you guys out, to where it's going to expand your mind further in the game, to where you can find those little spots that you might not have understood before. There's multiple things in here in the gameplay styles in the game that's going to help you out tremendously. Going further down here in the second ladder of the gameplay styles in Skyblivion is the PvE form. This is basically the only place that you can play this type of game style in the entire Elder Scrolls gaming network. It's called PvE. Some call this a player versus everyone, and there's just certain places that PvE players can only play in the game. Like if what I'm talking about, I'm not for sure in Fallout if there's such a thing as called PvE, but in Skyblivion there is, and this is a kind of a second set of roles that you might think of sitting down and go and get yourself a sweet roll before you start playing your game and going and venturing in a quest. This is going to be some fun stuff when you get more involved in the different places. I kind of like going over to the Lonely Troll to gather together at the Sweet Roll Church. It's over in Solitude, and before you start journeying over into the third DLC, that's a good place to kind of get involved with some different groups, which you can have tons of group activities before you start your journey if you're deciding that you are a PvE player. There are some problems with being a PvE player. Specifically, if you're a PvE player, you're basically playing against everyone in the game, and that's kind of a struggle in the game, where if you don't understand something, what you have to do is you're not going to have to learn the ropes. You're just gonna go right in there, but you won't be able to do some things that you might thought that you would like to. And so you'll find out that in the game, if you are a PvE player, well, you're going to be able to do certain things, and it's a fun thing when you want to actually just go all out and just like fight everyone. If you've ever like gotten mad at someone, if you are thinking about how you're going to be able to calm yourself, if you have a violent temper, you might be a good PvE player. You might want to actually beat everyone you can try to possibly beat. And being a PvE player in Elder Scrolls, this is exactly where you belong. Getting ready to calm yourself. And that's a good thing, a good option that you can get involved in the game by being a PvE player. Not everyone likes a PvE player at times, and so what has to happen? There has to be certain areas that the PvE players can play in the game. There has to be discernment when if you are a PvE player. There has to be some discernment issues or discernment things go on to where we can't allow some of the PvE thoughts to come in, because the whole reason is in the third DLC it's for us to gear towards winning the war. What I'm talking about in winning the war, there's it's called the Three Banner War, and I'll get into that here a little bit later on. And those of you that are PvE players, this is going to be great for you, because you're gonna be able to find your special place in Elder Scrolls. And that third DLC is the place for you. You're gonna have some fun times over in Cyrodiil. What you're gonna be able to do here in the future, this is kind of a small vision of what's going on. You'll be able to destroy those impossible things that have not been able to have been broken in through. You see what or hopefully you're seeing what I'm talking about by going in from Cyrodiil over into Skyrim, breaking the chains to where we can go through the mountain. We can lay a road through up in the foothills to where we can get through, and we are going to need you PvE players to keep on trying to get that ray in to where we can get over on the other side. You see what I'm saying? Now on a form here of what I'm going to talk about, those of you that are PvE players, what you can't do is you cannot destroy another alliance's banner. Now what I'm talking about in the real banner, the real banners that are in the game, you're not gonna want to destroy the things that can literally be destroyed, that are there for everyone. And when you see that, you'll be like, yeah, I'm not gonna destroy that completely. And most PvE players look at it as they want to destroy completely something in order to get on the other side. They're not looking to hurt someone. But in the game, what I'm talking about with like in battles, you can't do certain things in battles, and there has to be a discernment issue where, like where I am in the alliance I'm in Daggerfall Covenant, I'm battling against the Aldemary Dominion and Ebonheart Pact, and if there is a PvE player that's on both sides of the Aldemary Dominion and Ebonheart Pact, those of you in those alliances cannot destroy the top of what has been built by Daggerfall Covenant. What I'm talking about is you don't want to intentionally fire or shoot a bow at another alliance up on the top of a wall. Now there is a certain thing in war called friendly fire, and that's understandable. But when the players from before have been shooting up at top, that's kind of an indication that they're not supposed to be in that particular area. So there's certain areas that you PvE players cannot be. I'm just going to explain for those of you that in Daggerfall Covenant, if you're a PvE player, there are certain things that you cannot do. Like what I'm talking about, if you're mad at an Aldemary Dominion member, you can't go to a certain place that has been designated for them as a safe zone. Another point is if you're a Daggerfall Covenant member and you're mad at a Ebonheart Pact member, for example, you can't go into the designated safe zone of where Ebonheart Pact has the safe zone of their safe zone. You can't destroy those certain places. And what I'm talking about, the safe zone, the one example safe zone that I'm explaining is over in the Memorial District, up on the top. Those of you that are Elder Scrolls players know exactly where the tower is over in Memorial District. There have been other alliances that battle the alliance. Why they're shooting at us? I'm not certain as to why they're shooting at the same team. When we look at the game as a whole, the game is supposed to be us taking out the enemy characters. The alliances are not the enemy. The actual enemy are the enemy NPCs in which you see, like with the color of a red, for example. Not to meaning that Heart Pact is the complete red. You see what I'm saying? Like, and it's kind of hard to see. And what some of the Daggerfall Covenant players have done to fool some of the other Elder Scrolls players is there are some light sequences that have been fooling other Elder Scrolls players, thinking that they're in the Ebonheart Pact when they're actually in the Daggerfall Covenant. Kind of a ingenious way of actually winning the war. Some pretty sweet stuff. And so the challenges that PvE sometimes presents in the game, there is hope by the individual player letting loose a blow to everyone if they can try. The game is unbeatable, and finding the archive will be the puzzle through your infinite adventure. I don't know what else that says in there, but that's pretty much sums up PvE and how we're gonna actually win the war. That's gonna be a sweet thing when the game is won, and we can actually see the ending storyline of the game. Those of you that are listening to this, like while you're watching the video, you're like, no, I don't want that to end, because the game won't end. The game is meant for us to build upon the destruction that has happened from the various different enemy characters that you might know in the game. It's a little frustrating with a Drake of Blades, for example, because Drake of Blades is kind of like a jester in the game, to where they kind of egg on bringing in those things that kind of irritate or destroy the game in a form. You see what I'm saying? Like, what we have to do is we're going to have to actually go in the order of the discernment that's going on with the current gameplay. What I'm talking about of what we're gearing towards is gearing towards the second main story quest line. So that's an important thing to understand, how the system has not the system, the storyline, whatever you want to call it, has not really been developed too much. And so what's happening? We're currently in the second main storyline quest, and so it's going to take a long time to get the entire story out. And so what's happening right now here in last the latter series of the gameplay roles is what's called PvP, 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 PvP. Some love playing PvP. I've had other players come up to me like in the um, same alliance, and they're like, "Yeah, you wanna duel?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I get my butt beat all the time anyway, and so but I like to battle every once in a while. So what PvP is? It's another term for player versus player, and I've seen it in the game. This is absolutely amazing. Like an actual same alliance member, like on the same team. I think it was Aldemary Dominion. This was ingenious. Tricked their own member in the game. I was watching over in Memorial District in a battle. The Aldemary Dominion. There was an Aldemary Dominion group that was fighting the enemy NPCs. Then once I got done kicking the enemy NPCs' butts, what one of the Aldemary Dominion members did is they destroyed their own member in the game. They were doing something that they weren't supposed to, and what the individual member did is they started combating the player, most likely to teach them a lesson in the game. And so in PvP, players get to choose whether to combat other players in game. The beautiful process in PvP gameplay is you guys do get to battle alliance members and the surrounding environment. The surrounding environment is the important key concept of what's being explained here. If you are trying to destroy the environment, well, another alliance member is gonna teach you a lesson, and you'll have to go into PvP combat. So that's pretty much sums up the PvP style in what's going on. Looks like this is some advertisements here for Castles and Fallout. Castles 1 and 2. And this is what I'm going to explain here with the beautiful thing of seeing advertisements. This is a great thing for GOG. GOG is a fairly new gaming system, gaming network, if you want to call it that. Um, GOG is coming in further, and soon, here in the future, not certain when, but GOG will eventually in the future have a console available for you guys to play Elder Scrolls ESO. You'll be able to play ESO online. It's going to be a great thing. And so this is basically the gameplay presentation for Skyblivion. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed some things like of what maybe hopefully you've learned something, and if you haven't learned something, remember that we're all connected in some form in the games we play. You can't go away from one game to another. When you get involved in a group, you want to make sure that you're playing with somebody else. And if you're not playing with somebody else, you're just playing by yourself. And that's just plain boring. So hopefully you get involved in one of the gameplay styles in the third DLC. Hopefully I will see you in the game later. You guys just enjoyed the video, and hopefully you'll understand why I'm not playing the game tonight. I had sensed that there was somebody in one of the accounts, and do you understand how important it is to understand if somebody's going to try to lie through their teeth? They would have said that, look, hey, he's playing the game. Look, I'm not playing the game. But really, what he was doing is he was logged into Google. And now that you guys kind of understand what it means to really not go into somebody else's account, when somebody else goes into Google, Google has many forms throughout the internet and it's an important thing for you guys to not log into somebody else's account. What has been happening with the streams where they're not able to have been recorded, the views being recorded, it's because of other people that have been illegally logging in. We're not able to record the correct information like the FCC wants to. And so with other people that are looking in, as in illegally logging in and watching, you see what I'm saying? On the screen here that you see here, if somebody is logged in to my Google account, what happens? What if they would go onto the network? If they were to flip a button, they would be going onto the screen, or they might put something else that was not meant to put on the screen. This is directly reflects the network from the top to the bottom. And if we keep on having illegal users coming into the system, we're never going to get recorded information properly inputted. The numeral system will not function. So what I'm talking about earlier, you may have heard this, you may have heard me talk about this. I have a 2017 Android and also a very brand new, maybe 2 or 3 months old Android. The 2017 Android functions, and the 3-month-old Android does not function properly. I just got it working a little bit, and it's barely working. And what I have to explain to those of you guys that are now understanding, if you do see somebody that is logging into somebody else's account, please say something that will help out me and the others involved to where we can get the correct information of the users who are literally watching the broadcast. Somebody who is illegally logging into somebody's account, what this had told me when I sensed that somebody else was in the account, what they were doing is they were logging in to Google and they were watching YouTube. And what they were doing is they were watching the broadcast. They were saying that they were watching the broadcast. Oh, they were watching the broadcast, but the views could not be recorded because of that instance. And so I'm explaining this now so we can get the viewings in to show at least show like estimated amount of how many people are actually watching. When you guys actually are able to watch this in the future, or if you are watching this now, you'll understand how important it is to be logged into your own account so the proper information can get recorded. When you guys log into your own account and you're watching this, if you're watching this one time or regularly, that's the important part. We get the recorded information to where we get your personal information to where that will better you. Some people get very leery off of people getting somebody else's personal information. The proper authorities are the ones who need the information, you guys' personal information. I need you guys' personal information, so not only I can better myself, but I can better you guys as well. Hopefully, you guys are having a great imaginary game, as it is hoped that the system will grow by some of these things being known and to where they will not happen again. That's the hope. So hopefully you're going to have a good rest of the game night. Hopefully you're enjoying. Just got in here and back, and I want to show you guys kind of what I'm working on. I'm having to get into some things I don't understand, but this is what I have to do in order to find out what the problem is. Earlier, what I had sensed with another person actually legally logging into one of my accounts. This is what the theory is on when a person illegally logs in. I'm gonna explain this from the 3-month-old device right in here. What I'm going to show here, when somebody illegally logs in, this is what has happened. This says initialize it. Let's see here. Can you see it? I think this is right here where you might be able to see. But this device is connected, but it's not connected. We have problems to where we have processing problems. And what I'm talking about, when somebody illegally logs into somebody else's account, what happens is the initializing in the computerized programs do not function properly. And so what I have to explain with the importance of you guys to getting your own email and logging into your own account from your own email. So as far as the initializing, what's going to have to be studied is the coding programs of what's called initializing, and that's something that will have to be studied further. That's not going to get done tonight. But what's happening with initializing in Elder Scrolls is this is directly what I deal with and what I have to do to solve and fix the problem. With initializing, that involves the coding programs such as C++ or another coding network in the system. In Elder Scrolls, there's many different computerized systems, and we have to pinpoint the location of what's happening inside of the system. The computerized device that you guys had just seen is one of those issues that's happening not only in Android, but over in Steam, over in PlayStation, over in Xbox, over in GOG, over in Epic Games, over in Amazon. Those are the major sources for us in Elder Scrolls, and it's the utmost important thing to finding out where the issue inside of the cell is. Where's the page loading? You guys might have seen Vesta having some issues connecting up with Nintendo, and that's what's happening to what I'm saying for you guys to log in with your own email, and that will help initialize the program much better. So what I'm talking about in another form with the initializing is the relation of the problem that's happening with the Android and Steam. The problem is that we have the Vesta logo in Nintendo, but we don't have ZeniMax with Nintendo right now. You see what I'm saying? Vesta and ZeniMax are both with Nintendo. However, what I'm seeing over in the Nintendo Switch is that Vesta only has the logo in there. What I'm saying over in Elder Scrolls Online, the only thing that was being seen before was ZeniMax. Vesta was not being shown on the logo in the ESO program. What I'm explaining is Vesta and ZeniMax are both connected to Elder Scrolls Online. That's how important this issue is to getting resolved. Once we get that resolved, we will have a true connection and we'll be able to communicate with each other like we want to. So hopefully you guys are understanding what's going on, that how important it is to initialize your computerized device. That's the hope. The first step is by logging into your own account. When we get rid of the people that are illegally logging into other people's account for whatever reason, that's unknown. There's multiple things of why people would even think of going into somebody else's account. When somebody's trying to help somebody, as in an authority, a person will ask an authority who has a license. They will ask them. You can't actually have a person who's trying to do a side job and ask them to do work your computerized device, because they might not actually have the knowledge to reprogram your device. You see what I'm saying? How important it is for you guys to only trust a licensed technician to work on your computerized device. If you are having problems with your computerized device, what I'm explaining with the importance of you guys buying a device where if it's used or if it's brand new, making sure that you're buying it from a known company. If you're buying a computer, Staples is a perfect example of where you can buy a legitimate computerized device. If you go over to a place like a gaming store, a local gaming store, there's nothing wrong with local gaming stores. However, when you go to a local gaming store, does the local gaming store have the proper licenses to sell a component? If this gets a little bit more fuzzy, and I understand the reason to buy, sell, and trade, but if the local gaming companies, if they don't have their proper licenses, as in selling a game console to someone, and if that local gaming store, whatever local gaming store, this could be over somebody over in Tennessee or in South Carolina. What I'm just talking in, for example, a local gaming store. If a person who has stolen a game console and then they pawn it off to a local gaming store, if you buy a stolen game console, that is a computerized device just as much as a laptop or Macintosh is considered a computerized device. When devices are stolen and then illegal users who have logged into other people's accounts sell those devices, they're not literally selling the device. They're trying to get money from a device. They get money from the device, and then somebody buys the stolen device, outright buys the stolen device from a local gaming store. The local gaming store had no idea where the stolen device came from, but yet they sold the stolen game console. And then what is happening with the stolen game console is when you get onto your game console, the game console will not last like the game console is intended to last. When you buy from a proper company, you will be getting the proper game console of what I'm talking about. If you're going to buy a computerized device, you want to make sure that you're getting it from an actual company. If a company does not have their proper licenses, that's a little like iffy. Though there are many there's questions that arise when a company doesn't have their licenses. A company can go through for a while if they don't have the proper licenses, but eventually, if you are a company and don't have your licenses in check, if you don't have the proper licenses, you're not going to be able to last as a company. What I'm explaining is that the gaming companies such as Xbox, PlayStation, or Steam, they want the authorized dealers to actually present the game consoles because it's a for sure kosher sell. Do you understand what I'm saying? If somebody has stolen a computerized device, if you buy a stolen computerized device, there might be some bugs inside of the system, and if the stolen device goes to a reputable computerized dealer, they might not know what to do with the computerized device. They might just say, "Hey, this is bugged. We can't do nothing with this," and there's nothing you can really do about getting the device functioning again. When you outright buy a product, that's the best thing. It's refurbished is a good avenue as well. And what I'm explaining, the best avenue is by buying a brand new computerized device rather than a refurbished device. However, most people can't buy a brand new computerized device, not even on credit. You can't keep on buying a computerized device and expect to keep on buying computerized devices. Just the way it is. So if you continue to just buy off of credit, eventually you're not going to be able to buy. So the basic thing is having a job is going to help, and hopefully the proper people can help you out by getting a job if you are just paying with things from credit. Having a credit, like paying with a credit to get credit, is not really paying for an item. And so some of you might be a little upset off of what was just said, but that's the actual truth. That's the actual truth. That will extend our computerized devices. And what I'm explaining with the 3-month-old Android, there's no reason why that Android shouldn't be functioning properly. There's questions beyond questions of why the 2017 Android is functioning. I've rebuilt the cells inside of the 2017 Android. Now what I'm having to do is I'm having to rebuild the cells again in a very short time that the device has been maintained. Kind of a sad story that has been done multiple times. I'm kind of getting tired of getting interrupted on the inside. When people actually illegally log in, I notice these types of things. And from before, I hadn't noticed certain things, but the further I go into the system, the further I'm going to notice how these things are running. And what we have to do is we have to get the initializing system running properly. That's going to help us get the pages running better to where we can properly tune the screen. When you see the screen in here, the screen has been developed for you guys' cell phones individually. The screen can be brought out. However, what's needs to be done is the cell phones have to be looked at for the cells to branch out into the larger devices such as a a PC or a Macintosh. When we have the little androids go in to a big android, it's like a big android family. What I'm explaining with the things that are coming in from before, of where I did not see the Besta logo in Elder Scrolls Online on the Steam console, that was an alert to me, and I have to explain that, how that was actually giving us issues by not seeing the Besta logo. By only seeing the ZeniMax logo, we had no backing. We do have the ZeniMax and Besta logo, and you might not have been aware that we did have an issue here a couple of days ago. I didn't say anything because I didn't realize, and now I'm realizing, and I have to explain these things of how important it is to have these things available so we have a connection. The personal logos of Besta and ZeniMax are the most important things to Elder Scrolls as a company as a whole. So hopefully that's a little bit more understood, to where we can get those little imaginary androids into the server as a whole. The server is a whole server, and what I'm talking about, there's two main servers that are known in Elder Scrolls, such as the NA server and the EU server. There's basically one server in the world, and what we have to do is we have to branch the mirrored computers that are the same. You see what I'm saying? They are the literal two servers, and this is amazing to think about. The two computers that are used in Elder Scrolls have been made from the same device. Pretty amazing. See what I'm saying? It's the same device, but it's in a different name. You see what I'm saying? We have two main servers, such as the NA server and the EU server. And with that, I'm going to take a quick break and just about to get out of here. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the night. I'll be right back here in a little bit. Just got back here, and I'm going to try to talk here until the hour begins. What I have to explain is Twitter has to kind of go in overdrive here tonight to where we learn the initializing system. Twitter is one of the major communication site, and this is where we will learn how the initializing system works. We must learn as a society how the initializing system works. I don't know it all, and I don't claim to know it all. But what I do know is that we need the computerized systems to work. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start studying the initializing system, and I'm going to be starting to post a lot over in Axu's ESO here tonight. And with that, I want those of you that are not Twitter users to not go into Twitter. If you're a Twitter user, please go in and learn tonight over on the system, as this will help the system grow. You don't want to go outside of the system. And what I'm going to talk about in the gaming consoles, if you're an Xbox user, you don't want to go over and learn on a PlayStation console. It's different programming, and so what I'm talking about is we're going to have to learn the Twitter programming. There's a lot of people in Elder Scrolls that are in Twitter. There's very few people that are in Elder Scrolls that are in Twitter, and you guys can learn a lot from those Twitter users that are in Elder Scrolls. And so there's a lot of knowledge that can be learned, and tonight over in Twitter, it's going to go into overdrive, and this is a real life game. So I have to explain to you guys, I want to see the violence go away on Elder Scrolls VI. I want to see the 6th version be brought to life. Hopefully you see that just as much as I see that. That's gonna get us the game in, instead of us saying, hey, well, it's gonna be 20 years later when the 6th version comes out. I want the 6th version to come out in the year of 2025. That's a little over a year from now, and our computerized devices are going through the overdrive, the overheating state, in which I remember back in, I think it was 2010, when Xboxes were being overheated. What we're going to want to do is we're going to have to prepare further with the devices. The best suggestion that I can explain of you being on a computerized device is for no longer than 2 hours. From past experience on the Xbox 360, going over 2 hours will overheat the internal computer chip, and if you have to go in and put another computer chip inside of a console, you don't want to. The plain point is letting the general manufactured chip being placed in there. It's better to have a computer place the computer chip inside of the chip rather than having a human place the chip inside of a computerized device. That's so no dirt gets inside of the chip. You see what I'm saying? Having a clean computerized chip will help the device. There's nothing wrong with having a human place a computer chip inside of the computer. That's kind of amazing and fun to look at if you have put a computerized chip in a computer device. That's pretty amazing to actually do. However, sometimes those things, they just don't work, and if you don't get the proper chemicals and the proper tools placed on the console with the chip, well, the system will keep on overheating. And what the study in the initializing system will help prevent the overheating of our computerized devices. And that's why I'm going to go into Twitter tonight, and I'm going to do a lot of study over on the initializing system. This is a very important thing to prevent the overheating of our devices. I'm explaining this right now because I'm seeing some possible malfunctions here in the future. So these studies have to be done for us in Elder Scrolls so we don't have our consoles overheating again. Hopefully that's a little bit more understandable, as we have about a year to go before Skyblivion is released. The next chapter of Gold Road is coming up here in June, and those of you that are getting involved in Gold Road, please be understandable of the reason of why you will be staying in Gold Road rather than going into Skyblivion. You'll still be able to watch Skyblivion grow, but you're going to grow from Gold Road. Those of you that are staying in Necrom, I want you guys to stay in Necrom. Those of you that are staying in High Isle, I want you to stay in High Isle. Those of you that are staying in just general ESO, I want you to stay in general ESO. It's a pretty complex system if you are looking at buying everything. You can't buy everything, because if you try to buy everything, you're not going to be able to afford everything. It takes some time to buy some things. And what I explained earlier is the importance of you guys buying the next chapter of Gold Road before June. Preferably having everybody pay for Gold Road here tonight would suffice, but that's not a foreseeable thing of everyone paying for Gold Road. That would fix the system if we had an overage of people that actually paid. What we need, see what I'm saying? You need to see what I'm saying. You need to hear what I'm saying right now. We need over 22 million people to pay for Gold Road before June. Do you understand what I'm saying? We need over 22 million users to pay for the next chapter of Elder Scrolls in order to live. Do you understand what I'm saying? I might have to repeat this over again. We need over 22 million users to buy the next chapter of Elder Scrolls. Do you hear what I'm saying? We need over 22 million users to pay for Gold Road. That's how we can live, how we can survive. If we, as just 22 million faithful Elder Scrolls players, if we're the only ones that are paying for Elder Scrolls before June, we're not going to be able to grow. See what I'm saying? If we, as 22 million followers of Elder Scrolls, pay, and there's no more than 22 million users, if there are 18 million users that pay for Gold Road, there's an obvious amount that needs to step up and pay. But what I'm saying is that's going to leave us out if we don't get an over amount of people paying for Gold Road. And so the important thing of what I'm explaining right now is the importance for you guys to pay for Gold Road when you can. I don't expect for you guys to pay for Gold Road right now. If you're thinking of somebody who's commanding you or telling you to pay for something like Gold Road right now, dude, pay it right now. Right now, and I can't pay right now while you're telling me to pay. I can't do it, and that's why the important thing of what I'm saying right now: pay for Gold Road before the month of June actually arrives. That's what I'm saying. If you don't pay for Gold Road now, and you're supposed to, you're actually putting other people behind. Those people that actually pay for Gold Road, that have paid for Gold Road already, are expecting to get ahead. If we don't get paid we cannot get ahead. Do you understand what I'm saying? If we don't have, I have to use another term of what I'm explaining. This is a relation to why you guys have to pay gold before June. You have a bill that's due each month. Say it's due February 28th, for example. I'm just gonna use the like if it's February 28th is your due date that you have to pay for your bill of gold. Now, if you have to pay for your bill such as your phone bill, you have to pay for that bill before February 28th. It gets a little bit more complex if you're thinking like you can talk to a rental agency and you say, "Hey, I can pay my rent after the 5th of the month. It's late, but I still made the payment." That's gonna get you behind, and it puts other people behind. And so that's when I'm explaining the importance for you guys to pay for Gold Road before the month of June. That will make life easier and more enjoyable, and that will prevent those illegal logging in on other accounts. You see what I'm saying? When you have your own email account and you're watching, in some form, there's nothing wrong with you watching a broadcast. What I'm talking about, there's nothing wrong with you watching media. But what the purpose of watching media is the purpose that other people need to get paid from the things that they have produced. And that goes further into how you want to have a license. It goes further on when somebody repeatedly explains that something needs paid, and then somebody gets mad how they're explaining that something needs to get paid over and over and over again. I'm not going to be able to pay for that, but I'll just keep on watching. Then it gets to the people that understand that a person is supposed to pay. Then it's not ganging up; it's just doing the right thing. So if you don't pay for Gold Road before the month of June, and you're supposed to, if you were not watching this broadcast, you wouldn't know how important it is to actually pay for the next chapter, and you would not have been able to learn that by 22 million followers of Elder Scrolls need more people to pay for the next chapter. I kind of have to explain that that's a lot of people that are paying for Elder Scrolls. That's a lot of people, but that's not good enough. That's not good enough is what I'm saying. We need an over amount of people that are paying for the next chapter for us to be able to grow, for the numbers to actually grow. In the system, when you get into Elder Scrolls, you need to find your niche inside of the Elder Scrolls program. If you haven't found your niche yet, keep on playing, keep on logging into your account each day, and you will grow from Elder Scrolls. I guarantee you, by you playing ESO every day, that's going to help you grow, because you're going to learn the system. You're going to learn that you have to pay a setup fee and a monthly fee. You don't have to pay for multiple sites upon multiple sites. You just have to pay for a setup fee and a monthly fee, and that will set you up for life. That's the important thing to understand. So I'm going to be getting off of here of the stream here. Hopefully, you guys have learned a lot, and you'll kind of understand here in the future why I kind of bug about certain things. If I see that things aren't growing, I'm going to say something, or if I see something wrong, I'm gonna say something, and hopefully that affects the right people. When we get the right and proper communications in, that's going to help us grow. When you guys that are in Twitter, that are Twitter users, you're gonna be growing from the initializing program that is inside of of Twitter. Not all of us know Twitter inside and out. We know some things, but we can't do it alone. And so those of you that might have just switched over to Twitter, check out Akazu's SO and learn the initializing system with me here in the future. Going in here and learning the initializing system all tonight, that's not going to be completely understood. Learning the system step by step is going to help us build Twitter into a better connection for the world. I'm going to go off the screen here and I'm going to get into Twitter. Hopefully, you guys do too. So, hopefully, you have a good rest of the night, and you have a blessed night. So, all right, well, have a good night. Who's the anchor board? Hopefully we meet later tonight. Where's that gonna be?